All right, motherfuckers, how's everybody doing? So I just wanted to get that out of the way real quick, just so we can not be monetized. Get the motherfuckers right out. So my name is Alan Robbs, in case you're new to the channel. If you are, welcome. I swear a lot. If there's children around, you choose from there. But I'm going to sit and talk today with a bunch of people that run reaction channels to not just weight loss, but all sorts of other things. And I just want to get their aspect. Like you know, oftentimes I've done reactions to videos myself, but it seems like there's like, for certain genres, there's like a group of reactors going on to the weight loss channels and all like that we're going to talk about. Just so everybody knows, because I have a tendency to do this, and anybody else watching me interview knows this too, I'm going to try my very best to let them talk as much as possible and me talk as little as possible here. I will speak on the general concepts, but if anybody else is wondering, if I've had a private conversation with somebody where I've sent them weight loss advice and we have discussed back and forth, I will not be directly talking about them, what they're doing, that sort of thing. I can't talk about the concepts of like certain things that they're doing, whether it would be good, whatever would be my opinion, whether it be good for weight loss, but I'm not going to get into like this person said this about that. If they want to, they absolutely can. And I'm just going to kind of stand back because I wanted to give you guys a voice. And we're going to start with Lindsay, and then we'll go around because just so everybody knows, and she has disclosed this herself, and she used to be a client of mine. So we're going to go around for Lindsay, and then we're going to work our way around, okay?
All right, well, I'm Lindsay. Like Alan said, I was a client of his through 2020. It was probably one of the best experiences I've had with someone in the weight loss industry.
She doesn't need to say that, and you can talk less about my coaching, talk more about you, because she has a channel and like that. So they're either going to like the coaching or not. So exactly. It is in the description box below and in a pinned comment. So we are running a special thank you very much, Lindsay, but you don't need to pump it up because
I know it was good. So anyway, I am 34-year-old mom of two. I've been up and down in weight loss, and until I took my life seriously after a cancer scare and finding out that I was pre-diabetic and I was also dealing with hypothyroidism, I took my life back and I lost 132 pounds. And after having my second daughter, gained a little bit back and took care of business. So here I am. I fell down the rabbit hole of reaction channels, and it really felt like there was something missing. You saw a lot of, no offense to anyone, but you saw a lot of single people who don't have a whole life of responsibilities like children, work, and that's nothing against them. It's just my perspective. I felt like it was good for, people who've dealt with issues that I've dealt with. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to share my experience with how I related to these girls and, what I could offer to the community. So.
Cool. Tiffany?
So like Lindsay, I have a thyroid disorder. I have Hashimoto's disease. I started making YouTube videos like a pretty long time ago, probably like a decade now. Just talking about my experience and like learning about, just going through what it's like having Hashimoto's. And because of what I studied in college and then ending up in the job that I have now, I've always had an interest in like language and communication specifically and rhetoric. So the types of video, like when I fell into the community and started watching this, that's what I really like honed into was manipulative language or like the way in which people speak and like what impact that has, maybe someone speaking in a certain way or what are they saying? What are they not saying? So that's where my kind of videos come in because I love everyone's reaction channels and like I love seeing everyone's different takes, whether they're comedic or, just a straight up typical reaction. But that's where I kind of try to do the deep dives into like the critical thinking of what they're saying.
Lindsay turned me on to watching some of your videos, and that's I even have like a hashtag F your logic statements. You know what I mean? It's like I think it's some critical thinking is like literally a class that should be taught in like every grade, every single year, just development. Anyway, we'll get on to that later. Madzie, please introduce yourself.
Hey everyone. I don't know why. I look feel a bit nervous.
So weird.
I've never been in a room with so many people once before. It's different to me. But so obviously myself, I'm actually out here in the UK. I started doing YouTube a few months ago, and Amberlynn Reed was introduced to me by someone that I knew. And since then, to be honest with you, I've just kind of gone into a situation where I was talking about her in terms of her lies. And then since then, it's kind of spiraled to now me exposing other people for lack of accountability, and how much damage influencers are now doing to their viewers. And obviously, I feel like there is a space in the market where there isn't enough people talking about how crucial when a influencer lies and how much that can really damage someone else's life. Because obviously when you watch YouTube or watch anything on social media, you're looking for someone to inspire you, you're looking for someone you can live vicariously through. But when people start to lie and all that kind of stuff, it becomes a bit peak, you know. But nonetheless, though, that's all I'm going to say for now. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome all you guys. Please go follow their social medias. If you guys want to post them in the chat comment, please do. And then I'll pin them later once it's done. But one of the reasons why I wanted to have these folks on, for the audience wondering, is because oftentimes, like I'll jump in. I don't really I make reactions to all sorts of stuff. It's like almost comic effect. And then for the channels that most of the time these folks are talking about, I really just try to I'll offer my advice and stuff, but I've been a very firm advocate that I don't believe that YouTube should be, and this is where we start getting no views, by the way. I do not believe that YouTube should monetize eating disorder behavior. Then if any of you feel that this isn't eating disorder behavior being monetized on YouTube, I challenge you to type in the word mukbang into your search engine in YouTube and then filter by view count. And just today, and there's probably millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, probably 100 million views today of people jamming tons of food in their face for money. And I just believe when, especially morbidly obese people who have admitted to having binge eating disorder are shown doing this on camera, I believe that breaks the terms of service agreement that YouTube has with us as creators, that we will not show that. And they not only suspend it, but they monetize it. And I believe that in the monetization of that, it encourages these weight loss channels they get to monetize negative outcomes. When they have a relapse and they regain weight, they get to monetize that. I'm also kind of shocked at the monetization of weight loss journeys that aren't complete or haven't been done fully. It's so crazy because the journey that needs to be how you doing, Kat? The journey should be just about you. I really believe that. Like Lindsay can tell you, the first thing I say is that I don't want anybody. I don't want anybody taking giving me credit for their weight loss ever. It's very important for the person that accomplishes the goal or weight loss or whatever your goal is. It's very important for that person to know that they did it by themselves. That they had nothing to otherwise I'm setting them up to be a client for life, and I fucking don't believe in that. You know what I mean? I really don't. That's the same thing as Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers do. I believe if somebody comes to me as a client, I should be able to try to help them change their life enough where they can at least leave healthier and try to continue to be healthier when they leave. And without me. Because if it's with me, then then I'm not really doing my job. I'm not really coaching as far as I'm concerned. Because it's not like I'm doing personal training where I'm trying to get people big and strong. I'm trying to get people to be able to cope with life. But I find it very disingenuous by a lot of these channels are monetizing these things, because if you're monetizing weight loss based off of your weight loss, I'm just going to remind you that you are one person, one unique individual. And if you have not done this before, monetizing things that could be not only dangerous for you, but dangerous for the people that you do influence. I think that's dangerous. When we see new weight loss channels, because I'm trying to get everything I need to say out of the way, guys, just to be real. But I think that when we see weight loss channels, new weight loss channels, old weight loss channels, they make money based off of very hard, strenuous exercise, extreme diets, pre-workouts, things that morbidly obese people are best served not thinking about doing.
Because that's what gets views. No one wants to see the obese person walking 30 minutes a day and eating vegetables. They just want to see the action.
Exactly. So that's my main issue. Now I want you guys can discuss. We're gonna start with Lindsay because I know she's my fucking favorite. She was a client of mine, so just get used to it. But we're gonna start with Lindsay, and you guys can start discussing, and then if you guys want my opinion, I'll jump in. But I'd love for you guys to have that whole main discussion about like the actual monetization of weight loss and where you see it leading? Because like I said, you guys know what I think. So what do you guys think?
Well, I think that one of the biggest issues is YouTube, for me, started out as a place to seek laughter, a break from life, a break from reality. And it was a place to sometimes seek motivation or inspiration. Now, I don't draw motivation off other people. It's just I see things and then I take it to fit it towards my life. But a lot of people in the audience, they don't have that same reaction. They see these people and they want to be them. They want to emulate them. They want to do what they do. They want to feel included. And I think what happens is when you get this false sense of we're a team, we're doing it together, and you start to see results or you don't, and then the person you're following starts to struggle, it breaks that trust, and that trust gets whittled away piece by piece by piece. And that's when reaction channels are born, or what they like to call haters, is people start to see the manipulation, they start to see the lies, and then that's where we come in, because it's like, we've been putting in the work, I see results, why aren't you? And I feel like the monetization of their struggle is the worst part, because you'll see some people who are so positive, like, you can do it, but they don't realize they're lying, they're not doing it.
It's like the never ending inspiration. That's what gets me. And it's like, where is the intention? And I completely understand if some people might start off with the, innocent, genuine intention, like whether or not I believe it, or like, but okay, let's just assume that they start off with that like honest intention. But when it starts getting incentivized for them to just be never ending inspiration, it's like that their perception and reality is skewed. And that's what, I think I've spoken about with like how other of these women that we watch, like what they perceive to be the reality and what the community is perceiving is like off kilter. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why they end up in this battle with us, almost like, because they're like, no, I'm doing this and I'm being great. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, and then the sponsorships adds a whole other level to that, because then it's like, now you really are incentivized to just like keep this going at such a slow. And then if we start to question that, it's like, why is someone supposed to be above criticism or above feedback, even it's like for motivation or for development? Like, why is someone who's on this journey that they're putting out, they say, I'm on this journey and I'm inspiration and, oh, come on guys, like watch me, you can do it. And they want to build this like positive community. But if we start to question it, it's like they're immune from it being questioned because of that positive perception that they're putting out.
Yeah, the people, they're just supposed to stick in there, and we're just supposed to be quiet. That's it.
I think this is just the beginning. It's going to get worse, because the fact is, once you're able to make money of doing something, you're going to do it. And I think obviously once the world kind of started to say it's okay to be plus size, and be healthy and all that kind of stuff, that was the moment people started creating more channels, right? Obviously in terms of weight loss. And before that, whenever you watch anyone on YouTube that was a weight loss channel, there were people that had already lost the weight. And also at the same time, we're living in a society where people where being big has been normalized, and it's still being normalized to this day. And what happens is everybody knows this. And if you're someone who's very good at manipulating people, you come on to a platform purposely knowing that you're going to get a whole huge of fan base around the weight stuff. And most people that don't want to be motivated to lose weight, they're going to look for someone who's going to give them an excuse to continue, being big, you know what I mean? And it's a thing, when you look at some of these YouTubers who claim to be losing this amount of weight, but then they haven't, it's because there's this thing now where when you're a train wreck or you're a hot mess, you're always going to have traction, right? So some people do this thing where they'll be a certain weight, but then they'll never seem to lose that weight. But throughout the whole time, they'll tell everyone, I'm going to make it. And then they say, oh, I had a mistake. But the thing is, though, the reason they do this is because they know on a normal basis, a lot of people go through these things, and people use this to their advantage to monetize their life because they can do it. And here's the thing, right? If you've got the choice of going to work, being plus size person and potentially being bullied, compared to coming online and being plus size and earning even more money, what are you going to do?
Well, I think the consumerism is such a big aspect of it as well. I mean, when you think about consumerism as far as like, objects and sponsorships and getting things for free, that's part of like the influencer aspect that, and then on the flip side, you've got consuming, being lazy, like any type of negative stereotype or behavior that they might exemplify in their life. And it's just like that you can't like escape from that. And I definitely think it's like we understand that everyone should be respected. But for me, what I see a lot, especially on YouTube and in these spaces, is it's so tied to vanity. And it's so tied to like, I'm plus size and like, here's my fashion and here, and tell me I'm beautiful. And you're disrespecting me because you don't think I'm beautiful. That's something that really frustrates me, as far as like the community that they build and center around as well.
Yeah, and if you say anything to the different, you're just a hater. We're all lumped into one. They won't actually hear you out. It's just, we're all one.
Yeah.
Well, that's the labeling thing of the whole fat phobia. I mean, I've been called a racist so many times because of stuff I say about obesity. I've never understood that. Like, I just don't like. It's just like catchwords. I think that they used to like kind of silence a lot of folks. My thing is people making money off of a journey that they've never completed once is. I wonder, you know, like if that's in their best interest. It actually incentivizes them to take longer because it's hard to like, what's the end game? Because, and this is just, I wanted to talk about like the actual realities for a few folks. If you start at 350 pounds, the end game is not going to look like Instagram, you know, like, I mean, they're like, I think Jordan Sparks does a great job where she actually takes people through the rest of her journey with that, you know, and I think Jordan Sparks kind of came along before this whole, like people got uber popular for their weight loss journeys and monetize. I bet you should probably monetize barely half of her weight loss, you know, and stuff like that. Now, I'm not watching a lot of her content, but what I'm saying is like, at least there's like a continuation, but people don't really understand that like, if you haven't lost 200 pounds or 100 pounds, like there is many plateaus, roads. People don't like have a mistake. Like you were saying it was a mistake. There's no mistake. A mistake does not make you gain 15 pounds. That's when people have these relapses, it's not a mistake. It is that they either got injured or they lost motivation. The lost motivation thing, another thing, guys, because I've heard that a bunch of times too before. And I tell all my clients this. You did not lose motivation. You likely set yourself up for a lifestyle that is not conducive to you doing it in the long term. Like, I mean, I do not need motivation for what I do. I absolutely don't. Like, you should set yourself up. Like, I wake up, I can get a little bit of movement in. I love the food I eat on a regular basis, and it's what's putting once you figure that out, like you have to like it. Like you have to set it up where it's healthy and you like it. It just makes it a lot easier. If there's no mistake, though, Madzie, that was a good point. I hear that oftentimes. Well, I had a mistake. When a YouTuber gains 15 pounds, that was not a mistake. That was not a meal. That was not 2 meals, 3 meals, 4 meals. If they gain 10, 15 pounds, that is weeks of binging. Like to get to have a slip happen that fast, that is a massive change in caloric load. Massive. You know?
And I think like the discipline, and that's, you know, for me, where I think people need to separate the motivation versus discipline and routine. Yeah. And what we see in these YouTubers is what discipline and routine have they set? They've set this like super slow or like with no actual success. Like that's the routine that they are embedding into their life that is being held up as supposed inspiration.
Well, that's why I was talking about the 75 large. I keep calling it 75 large and 75 large. I don't know why. It's so stupid. I can't fucking get myself to consider it to be something real. Like you folks realize, like I think it would be good for somebody that's already in shape, maybe just to kind of, I don't know, test themselves out, see if they can accomplish whatever. But I gotta say, like for an obese person, a morbidly obese person, or something like that, that is just a stupid ass fucking way to fucking conduct your life. I mean, motivation challenges are not what morbidly obese people need. They need to be able to set up a lifestyle they like, and they go like, if you challenge your motivation after that, challenge your dedication after that. But like, you got to set something up that makes it pretty easily attainable for you to at least lose a good portion of your weight. Because if it's not easily attainable, the chances are you're not going to stick to it enough because it might be too painful for you. It might be out of your reach for you. You still might be eating the wrong foods that you're addicted to, all sorts of stuff. But you shouldn't try like 2 workouts a day for a morbidly obese person. It's negligent. Right? I mean, like two hard workouts a day for a morbidly obese person, unless they're already an athlete, unless they have been a serious athlete most of their life and just got morbidly obese, that is negligent. in my opinion, you know.
Sorry, I just want to respond to something on the comment section. Someone said here that fat phobia is actually rooted in racism. Read Fearing the Black Body. I just want to put this out here, to be honest with you. Comparing someone's weight compared to someone's skin is not the same thing. Just because society told you that doesn't mean it's true, because when you are born whatever race you're born, right? And then obviously after that, it's up to you what you want to do with your body. Obviously, some people live a lifestyle where their parents make them obese already anyway. But either way, regardless of whether you was big as a child or big as an adult, you can change your what's it called, your weight when it comes to your skin tone. Unless you're Michael Jackson, that's a complete myth. So people really need to move away from this whole thing about, you know, bringing in race with also fat phobia, because it's just the dumbest thing possible. You know what I mean? But anyway, but apart from that, sorry, nothing I wanted to say. I wanted to say that one of the problems that I have with a lot of YouTubers that are plus size who do share their journey is that how many times can you fail online until you say, you know what, maybe it's not working for me and I need to come off. And the moment that someone continues to fail over again and again and again, but then still wants to keep uploading and monetizing, that's the moment that anyone with, you know, common sense, shall I say, with that being rude, is the moment you say, you know what, this person actually isn't here to lose weight. This person's actually out here to display their life in a way they're gonna earn money consistently by not losing any weight. You know what I mean?
The only thing I wanted to cut you off with, though, like I like the common sense thing, I agree, but a lot of folks just look for, like, a lot of folks are really stuck in the way they eat and can't imagine being able to keep weight off, because what they've built up in their head is this idea to be thin and whatever, you have to starve yourself and barely fucking be able to eat and eat like a fucking, say no at holidays and all that shit, because that's what the fucking fitness industry has shown too. Like, fitness industry is definitely fucking at a huge portion of fault here too. But, you know, so I just think that it's easy for people that's in a society that tells them that, hey, nothing's ever your fault, to all of a sudden sympathize with somebody else that is having the same or worse issues. Like, I mean, or worse, you know, because, I mean, people can at least be like, I'm not Amberlynn. Or people can at least be like, at least I'm not her, or at least I'm not this person, right? Or people can be like, well, you know, yeah, he or she is thinner than me, but look how much they have to do for it. I don't want to have to fucking go through that. You know, like, it gives them motivation that way. So the points you guys are saying about, like, after they fail 2 or 3 times, my thing is, like, the problem is, it's like this work along stuff. Like, if you want to talk about your journey, the problems, everything you have, great. But don't be talking about what you're doing workout wise and, you know, like, everything like that. People want to see that. I understand that. But, like, when you guide them along step by step by step by step, it's probably not going to be the right thing for them, even if it is the right thing for you. And, like, when they fail it, which, you know, often happens because they're trying somebody else's prefabbed program instead of trying to change their own lives, then, like, normally the people that follow them, that are following along with them, fail too, you know. And that to me is an issue. Like I didn't start giving weight loss advice until I had lost weight, you know. I mean, I really, like, and that was with 15, 20 years of nutrition work before YouTube under my belt, you know. Like, I would say calories in, calories out, blah blah blah, but, like, to actually give, like, here's what I'm doing, I still don't do that. Like, and I tell people all the time that what I do is not even attainable by most people, due to not just who I am, but time constraints, what I like to do, stuff like that, right? So that gets to be my issue, is, like, you take people on it, you know, hold people by a hand and monetize a journey that you don't know if you're going down the right path yourself, let alone if it's the right path for them. And that's where I find it to be kind of dangerous.
My thing as well. Oh, no, you can go ahead.
That's just my biggest disconnect, and that's why I jumped in on my channel, is because you see all these weight loss influencers who are like, they have no kids, some of them don't have a job, and they're like, let's do this together, let's do 75 hard together, let's do this. And it's like, I have to worry about kids, school, sports, dance, my job, sleeping. Like, it's not relatable to your entire audience. And when you put this one-size-fits-all weight loss plan out there, it sets people up for failure.
I mean, a lot of the plans are like that, though. I mean, like, Jenny Craig, from what I saw, Jenny Craig, that's binge food. Like that's just low calorie binge food. You know, I don't see much of a difference between that and that Octavia crap. You know, I mean,
it's the same.
True. Yeah. And my thing as well is like, there is something to be, I understand where people can get really into the rhetoric of like what society values, you know, talking about like what types of bodies in different periods of time are, you know, held as like the ideal and what we're supposed to reach. And that's the conversation. Like, I totally get that. But then the one takeaway that I had 10, 15 years ago, what from like, you know, especially like the body positive community, is the whole like, well, screw what everyone else thinks. But then I'm like, okay, so forget what everyone else thinks. I can dig that. But then I'm left with what I think. What do I feel about myself? And that's why I had to get really specific about, I'm forgetting what everyone else thinks about me. So what do I think about me? And the fact that I have Hashimoto's, I had to really hone in on what is good for people with autoimmune diseases. Okay, let's make it more specific. What about me? And that's where I found the most success, was like going down, you know, researching with my endocrinologist, like autoimmune paleo protocol, and figuring out, well, I am sensitive to these types of food. So I can talk about that on my YouTube channel, but it's like, I will always encourage people like, yeah, sure. Like, you know, you got to focus on yourself, but you got to really like take that discipline and take that research and take it one step farther, instead of just being like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna do what I want.
Thanks for demonetizing the whole video by swearing, but just
Tiffany swore before. You swore before Alan. That's a record.
Just joking.
You're in the word.
So
This is Alan influence.
no shit. By the way, I'm not an influence. Like these folks are independent of me, even though Lindsay and I are friends. These folks are independent of me, and if any of them fuck up in the future, I'll gladly just fucking ignore them, like I do with other people that fuck up. So like, that's what people. I've had people be like, aren't you going to address the fucking this person or that person? Like, well, chances are, if they've been a client of mine, absolutely not, never. But chances are, if I've had a private conversation with them, no. Like, I just don't do that shit. Like, I find that to be so fucking ridiculous, you know? It's one thing for me to put insight in on like events around stuff or like kind of concepts, but fuck, I mean, people, let's be real.
You hit a good topic. That's another thing on YouTube. You know, we all create this community, and just because I follow someone and you see me comment somewhere or you see me support them, doesn't mean that I co-sign every single thing they do. And
I watch a ton of people I don't like.
That's terrible.
I watch a fucking shit ton of people that don't like me. That's a huge number of people.
And it's also like, why are we, the thing that I don't understand, especially like, it's like, you're allowed to change your mind as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you're allowed to, as I would expect and hope that as people age and go through life and, you know, when they find out new information, it's okay for them to like agree and disagree and change their opinion on things.
Absolutely. Now, don't get me wrong. You should at least admit when you're wrong, or when you admit you're like, at one point in time, I actually said like, you know, I wouldn't even care if it was one of my friends. I would make a video on them, roasting them, and then like, you know, after if I would have never started coaching, you know, in all good fun, I probably would, right? But once you start coaching people that are morbidly obese and they trust you, like they trust you to talk to you about stuff, you know, me roasting one of my good friends, all in fun, might not fucking go over too well with that shit, you know? So even if it was just like, I try to always be mindful of like the important people in the audience. Now, don't do it like, and people get pissed when I say that. I don't make videos to be liked. I see a lot. That's another thing we're going to talk about here real quick. I do not make videos to be liked, because I believe that if you try to tell your audience, if you really get to know your audience and tell them exactly what they want to think, they don't actually like you anyway. They just like the words that are coming out of your mouth. They like hearing what they think come out of your mouth and your delivery. And I understand that my delivery is not for people that even like my content. Sometimes I don't give a fuck. But because I'm just going to be me 100% all the fucking time.
We have a good comment in the comment section that says, why do we care about them more than they do? That's because we have self-awareness and we couldn't see ourselves acting the way they act on camera.
Yeah. And they have to feel trapped. I mean, like, I'm sorry, but like, there's no way that some of these ladies don't feel trapped. I don't know if they do. The only one I haven't spoken to, I'm sorry, like Foodie Beauty, there's no way that woman doesn't feel trapped. No. You know, the reality of it is, like, though, I feel that when people only tell their audiences what they think their audiences want to hear, it's radically disingenuous, and especially for an audience trying to lose weight, that's dangerous. I mean, because like, if you just tell them what they want to hear, that's how we got to be in this fucking obese state. Like, you know, I mean, I understand we're in this whole thing where look, we don't want anybody to be, you guys can talk about mean apocalypse too. We don't want anybody to be mean, okay, to anybody. But I'm sorry, at some stage, what's happening is that when the audience is getting hurt, and this is why you guys do stuff. When you guys talk about this at length, and what you think the damages could be, why it is important to actually look out for the audience by telling them the truth. That's the thing. A lot of these people, like, almost, I don't even think intentionally mislead their audience, but they guide away from what would actually be the truth and towards more what the audience wants to hear, and that's dangerous. So,
right.
Again, but anybody trying to say different is labeled mean. Like, I mean, I want your guys' take on the information that goes out and why it's important to the audiences, because I do think that your guys' take on that is the proper one. It is the influence that these people have, right? So, and Lindsay, you started first last time. Now that everybody knows everybody, Madzie, you go first.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was I was gonna go back to what you said about not being you don't care about being liked, and at the same time audiences, right? Here's the thing for me, this is the mentality that I've always had, right? In life, people are either gonna understand you or they're not gonna understand you. And in life, people are either gonna like you or they're not gonna like you. So for me, I like to revolve myself around people that are going to understand where I'm coming from. And also at the same time need to understand that I am human, and of course I can make mistakes. And of course, sometimes I may say things in a way that it shouldn't be said, right? But the thing is, and because I understand this, I find that whenever I make videos about people, like let's say for example, let's just throw out a name out there just for the sake of it, right? April Lauren, for example, because she has a fan base of people that like her, right? It's interesting that if I make a video on her, people don't want to hear about it, right? But if I make a video on Amberlynn Reid, everyone wants to hear about it because Amberlynn Reid already has this hate factor around it, right? And this is the problem that we have in the world. The problem is people are very selective of who they want to hear about in a negative way and who they don't want to hear about in a negative way. So therefore, they blind themselves from understanding that, listen, just because someone is good all the time, or at least presents to be good all the time, it doesn't mean that there isn't anything, shady about them, or there isn't anything maybe that just doesn't add up. So therefore, for me now, I have no fear at all in any kind of capacity to make a video about anyone who I feel like, is maybe doing something that just doesn't seem right. But the thing is as well is this, right? When people have this thing in their head that, oh no, you cannot make a video about this person, they already have it in their head that you cannot, no matter how you deliver the video, they're always going to see as if you're just picking on this person, right? Which is a problem, because every video that I have made about most people, I guess apart from Amberlynn Reid and Chantel maybe, but every video that I make about everyone, the first thing that I do in the very first video initially, right, is I will make the video on a general basis where there is no like, oh, I think you're doing this, or I think you're doing that. I'll just say, listen, I've noticed this and that, and I think maybe you should change it because it doesn't look right. Now, when people say, oh, you're being horrible, I'm like, did you actually listen to what I said? Because I'm not even calling this person out at this moment in time. I'm just advising them, you know what I'm saying? But then once I do the first video, that's when I get people reaching out to me. And then they say, you know what, to be fair though, I've noticed this. And then that's when I go in with the plunge of, okay, there's this, there's that. But the bottom line is this. We live in a society where people are too picky about who we can and kind of speak to. But what people don't understand is this. If I've come on a platform to make a difference, I'm going to make the difference regardless of whether you like who I am talking about and who I'm talking about or not. That's why I like to revolve myself around people that will understand that when I do something, it's not out of the fact that I'm just being horrible or I just don't like this person. It's because I'm doing it because I've seen something that I believe needs to be viewed. Now, you can either agree with it or you can disagree with it. That's fine. But when people start to come out with this energy, it's like, well. I know you're definitely not someone that I would like to be around, if that makes any sense.
It's
but
like,
anyway, yeah, go on.
You can go ahead, Lindsay. Sorry.
No. Oh, sorry.
Oh, well, like, I think that communities and stands can sometimes be so protective of these people, and that it's like feedback. It's something that I have to deal. I mean, I work in marketing and redlining. I deal with criticism constantly, and feedback is for development, it's for motivation. And I think these people who are so protective of these YouTubers or these communities are so protective. It's like, do you want to be stagnant? Do you really not want any type of development, of any type of change? You know what I mean? Like, and that protective stagnation is something that it always is like a red flag to me. It's like, you really can't handle anything besides like, I've tried I'm trying not to curse. Anything besides like being like
you. Whatever the fuck you want. Say fuck anything you fuck want.
It's like all they want is to like kiss their ass, and that's it. And like anything that's not kissing their ass is like is like hate. It's like, no, you're providing feedback. I think Madzie does a really good job of opening up the community to people who will say like, well, I'm kind of like, I don't know about April, Lauren, and now, and we're guided to make our own decisions because we're looking at what they've presented.
Yep.
Just real quick. I wanted to point out that like I don't have a problem with that people monetizing their channels in this way. Anybody, okay?
Yeah.
YouTube putting monetizing, I don't want. Where I draw the line is YouTube monetizing like the food eating behavior, like the actual eating behaviors, okay? Because I didn't want to want anybody to think I want these people to be without income or anything like that. It's disingenuous to have eating disorder behavior on YouTube. So I want to make that clear real quick. Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry. I did when you brought that up. Like you brought that up real quick, Tiffany. My ADHD was like, get that.
I'm not gonna lie. I forgot what I was gonna say. I forget very easily.
Sorry.
Once I have something in my head, I gotta say.
I think when I make videos about people other than Foodie and Amberlynn, people, as soon as I make a Foodie video or an Amberlynn Reed video, people are there. They're here for it. They want to tear in. And I try to make sure that when I make a video, I'm not saying anything to attack their character. I'm just attacking the habit that they are showing to their audience. Now, if someone wants to talk about their fupa, I'm going to laugh about their fupa with them. If they open that door, I'm going to talk about it. Sorry, my cat's deciding to bathe.
Your cat's being so cute.
But they open these doors, and they do it knowingly. Now, to Madie's point, when we talk about someone that's deemed untouchable, like Alexander Rodriguez, you can tell. Once upon a time. You can tell when someone comes to your channel and they haven't watched your video. They come because they see the title and they're there to scan her, and they don't even listen. And if you're not willing to listen to open adult conversation, you need to get off the internet.
And I think
that reminds me of what I was going to say now. Yeah, that's it. It's because a lot of these people, what they don't understand is that they have been manipulated. They've been hypnotized at this moment in time, you know. Yeah. But at the same time, though, some people will just go to your video. They'll look at you and be like, you know what? I just don't like you. So I'm just going to be difficult no matter what. Even though you may be speaking some facts, I just want to, you know what I mean? And that's also another play into it. But really into it, it's just manipulation. Do you know what I mean? Because I find that most subscribers that do obviously support people who are doing madness, they usually come from a channel where they are always consistently giving like super chats or consistently giving away GoFundMe. And the reason I say this is because there is this secret narrative that people don't see, that if you are on a channel and you find yourself consistently always giving someone a super chat all the time, right? By default, not even by thinking, by default, and you're consistently always giving them a GoFundMe by default, understand at that moment in time, that person has done something to your mind to manipulate you, believe that it's okay to keep giving them even. And the best one is when people say, oh, that's lovely. Oh, but please, guys, you don't have to give me for this video. It's really not. Listen, you've been manipulated. Understand that. But people, boy, I mean, listen, each is of their own. But let's continue.
Nice. Shall we? The thing about it is, like for me, I think I've seen multiple times where all of a sudden these channels are kind of like snapping back at you folks, and I just don't understand. I personally tell anybody that any weight loss advice I give you folks, please go research. Please go research, and I'm the first one to tell you more than anything that you need to find what works for you. I have some good ideas and methods on how you can find that stuff. Maybe it's all kind of commonsensical based, like get good sleep, get good rest, watch your stress relief, make sure you're like eating most of your food from real protein, vegetables, some fruits, and treat processed carbohydrates, sugars, treat that like that's alcohol, and eat it and drink it sparingly like it's alcohol. And then try to be more mindfully aware of your food. Don't just think about it like this is like, I don't think about a piece of steak like this is a piece of steak. I like it. It has protein. I think about it, this is the healthy fats and protein I need to probably satiate me for about 6 or 7 hours, depending on the size. And so I keep in mind that I love it. It tastes good. I know I know how it makes me feel. I know if my stomach accepts it. I know how it makes me feel the next day. I try to be mindful about my food that way. This is all basic advice, that I try to give. And even if then, I still tell you to find out what works for you, test different foods out, at least be mindful about the food you're eating. That's what I'm trying to get to people lately, because If once you understand what foods make you hungrier than other foods, you can just change them in your day. But you check that out for yourself. But my issue is I still tell people to check that shit out. And the problem I'm seeing is that people just blindly follow. They will blindly follow what anybody that they're looking for influence or motivation for. The problem is you don't know if that, especially if they're not like a professional, you don't know if the motivation you're giving you is towards something that's going to even hurt you. You know, like a weight loss channel, somebody trying to lose weight following a channel that still eats a lot of calories and just does a lot of activity is not good for a person. I strongly suggest you check out other methods if you're a morbidly obese person. I strongly suggest you get some counseling. I say that all the time. That I don't make money from fucking counseling. You know, like I would say a good like 20% of the people that we hire for coaching, we literally just say, instead of spending the money on us, spend the money on this counselor and give them the number and go on. We don't get anything for it, you know? And that's what I think coaching is. The problem is it's monetization. There's a difference. Like coaching is a service provided that helps somebody. You know, monetization of influence is literally just that, folks. It's monetization of influence, you know?
Well, and on the flip side of what you're saying, you know, everyone needs to make it unique to themselves. Another thing that I noticed on YouTube, and Tiffany, maybe you can agree, hypothyroidism is not something that was really talked about. Like, it was kind of hush hush. It was like, you know, no one wants to be that tired mom or that tired woman or man, whatever. They don't want to be looked at as lesser than. And I've seen a lot of these influencers who want to stay nice and shiny and perfect. When you talk about something that could potentially be a struggle and could be valuable to share, they don't want to do it because, you know, yes, it's medical, but you can talk about things and you can tell people to be your best advocate and to research, and this is what worked for me, but then you need to research it. They don't want to talk about anything that makes them look, you know, less than. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Alex was addressed about, you know, having hormone issues or thyroid possibly. And someone in her comment section asked, I mean, can you talk about your experience with that, you know, getting tested or whatever? And she blocked them. Like, that's a good conversation to have. Even though it's doctor related, it can still be touched on. It can, you know, it can be normalized to talk about things.
Some of my most viewed videos, I mean, prior to like making these videos now, some of my most viewed videos, and they were about like from years ago, talking about like, oh, I met a new endocrinologist. This is what happened. You know, learning how to advocate for myself, learning how to figure out, okay, they're not really listening to me. And wow, I found this new doctor who's like put me on this medication and they're fantastic. They listen to me and these are the symptoms that I'm still having or working through. And, you know, I have a video where I talk about how like, it is a big part of our identity, I think, like learning through and working through having an invisible chronic illness, but also learning how to like, yeah, I might have to like work harder than the person who doesn't have an invisible illness, but I still am able to reach the heights that I want to reach. You know, talking about like the spoon theory and stuff like that, about, oh, like how does chronic fatigue like affect you? I think they're important conversations to have. And there's another influencer who she found out that she had hypothyroidism, and someone was asking her like, what are you doing for it? Are you taking medication for it? Because she always goes on about like her depression and like that. I mean, 10 years ago, thyroid issues were misdiagnosed as depression. And she was like, I'm not taking any, I'm not doing anything for my thyroid. I'm not taking any medicine for it. I'm not taking any vitamins. What are you talking about? And I was like, I don't know if I should say the YouTuber, but like, I'm just like,
you guys can say whoever the fuck you want.
Well, it was Kelly Eden, who she is, I don't know if you guys like know about her. She doesn't really post too much now, but she's really big in like, she does like a lot of, I don't know, like fashion, I guess, type videos and cosplay in the past. And so yeah, I was like, dang, this is a YouTuber I watched and I found out she had a thyroid issue. This is great. I was like, and people were in the comments were like wanting her to post about it. And she just,
did she really have a thyroid issue if she's not on medication for it?
She said
I find that so radically hard to fucking believe.
That's almost more dangerous, saying I'm just not you know?
No, literally, there was a time when I was living in Australia and I went through this whole like, I don't want to be tied down to medication, and I stopped taking my medication, and I ended up in the hospital. Like I had a thyroid storm. Like it was so bad, and this doctor afterwards was like, you know, people go into comas when they like stop. They just straight up stop taking it. I was like,
well,
I didn't know that.
You just brought up another thing, and here's what I wanted you guys to talk about. If you guys could talk more about this, because mukbangs like catch my fucking attention, because again, that's the fucking shit. But so let's say one of them sits down to go do a mukbang, right? And like, oh, it's so good, blah blah blah, convincing the audience, right? Audience says, let's eat like Chantel or somebody like that fucking night. So Chantel happens to have eaten something that was radically fucking sugary and in large quantities, and that person goes into a diabetic coma and dies. You know, that followed her. Like, encouraging unhealthy behaviors, unhealthy people on a broad audience is just so tragically scary. So I want you guys to talk about like the responsibility that you think should come along with stuff like that. Like, I know that you guys, like, what I found amazing, just so everybody understands why they're on here, I've kept with Lindsay for a while, but what I saw is like, you know, the channels around this whole area, for some reason, it's like, it's almost bad that you guys are actually calling this shit out by you know, and I'm not going to get into it, but I mean, I know John did it, the thing with Madzie and everything like that. Like, I don't get that, but I will say this to the rest of the fitness professional friends I have. You know, fuck all you, because you don't think that this is actually an important thing. You know, fuck all of you for like a lot of you creating these fucking problems for these people, like making it seem like they can fucking do these quick fix things for all sorts of fucking shit. But most of all, if you really want to consider yourself a fitness professional, like we need to start talking about this shit, and like everybody, like this shit should not be coming from people from their audiences. Like the fitness industry should be taking care of this. Like if we really want to act like we're helping people, we should be addressing this. You folks, and I know Madzie, I know you all take care of yourselves, but like the actual people that are on YouTube that say or Instagram or whatever saying, hey, come to me for fitness advice. We should be addressing these things, how dangerous this shit is. But most of the time, most of these fitness professionals will have a mukbang fucking video on their own channel themselves.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't believe in censorship at all. I believe that if someone has free will to put it out there, they put it out there. But YouTube has clearly stated that in their terms of service, that monetizing eating disorders is not okay. And there's a fine line there. When I talk about any of these girls, the first thing that's thrown at me is, you know, they're not monetizing their eating disorder. They can eat on camera. Fat people should be able to eat. Okay. If Chantal had never come on YouTube and said she had binge eating disorder, she had all these different health problems, I don't think she'd have the negativity that she has. I'm not saying mukbangs are right or good, but it's the problem of the constant back and forth. They create this negative cloud around their channel, and then they're shocked when people are calling them on their bullshit. And then when you call them on it, you have people being like, well, these people are suffering. So why are we allowing them to suffer in front of millions of people who are also taking in that toxic energy? There's got to be a line. Someone has to put their foot down.
I agree.
Yeah. Sorry. So when it comes to mukbangs, mukbangs are something else. For me, this is the thing, right? I just don't really believe that anyone should be doing mukbang regardless of how you look, to be honest with you, because the thing that we've had now is that mukbang originally stems from conversation. It's something that people done in Japan, I think it was, and it was actually a conversation situation, right? But obviously it grew on YouTube and obviously got views, and therefore a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon, of course, to earn some money. Fantastic. But what's happened now is that mukbang was something that started off in a way, I guess it made sense, but now it's more a thing that is used more for manipulation. So, and when I say manipulation, what I mean is if you got a YouTuber that is generally in shape, right? They'll do videos of 10,000 calories, mukbang after mukbang, blah, 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 but they'll always stay in shape, right? I think that is very, very damaging to the eye. Now, regardless of whether that person's looking after himself anyway, properly, either way, it's damaging because you're basically saying that, hey, because I'm slim, I can eat as much as I want and I'll keep doing it. But like, how much is that making someone that's overweight feel, who's struggling and genuinely wants to lose weight? But then on the flip side, someone that is already overweight, you know, they're like, oh, I want to do mukbangs too, but obviously I can't. And then they get to a stage, they're like, you know what, F it, I'm just going to do it anyway because it's going to give me money. So there is just a negative on both sides, you know, based on how it's begun. And I think YouTube realistically should stop doing mukbangs in general, but it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I forgot it. Yeah, I finished. I had more to say, but I keep forgetting things.
Madzie said, go on.
Just interrupt us, Madzie. If it comes, just go and we'll stop.
I used to watch, there was a point in my life when I was living in Australia where I was really like just sad and lonely, and I was missing home, and I would watch Trisha Paytas's mukbangs. I don't know if she really ate as much as she did back then, because this was you know, many years ago. But at the time, I was like, well, I'm going to get my food and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to eat with her, because it felt less alone. And it sounds really weird, but I'm just like, I stepped away from that when I ended up, like, I moved back and, like, you know, met my husband and got a hold of, like, my health and my life and everything. But I remember how
when they say grab a snack and come watch, does that not bother you?
It's like
they say that?
Yeah, Alexandra Rodriguez, on a lot of her videos, grab a snack and come join me. And I'm like, you're on Weight Watchers.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, that's my.
I had it. You brought it.
Oh, no. That's why I think it's funny.
Go ahead, Tiff, go ahead.
I just think it's funny when, like, you know, since you mentioned that, like, Michael B. Petty, he would be like, all right, everybody grab their water, everybody grab their ice water, as, you know, playing on, you know, the fact that mukbangers, like, I mean, you can't, it's so intrinsic to it. And, like, these are the types of people that I think, like, I don't like, it's so hard to watch Chantal. But when like, we see in, like, chats, like, people will be like, dang, that Mexican food does look good though.
Yeah, I catch myself doing that, like, oh, I really want some guacamole, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. And so I can understand, like, where it appeals to people who are, like, lonely, but then it's like, there's a huge issue that shouldn't be the solution. The solution should be figure out, why are you feeling this? Why are you feeling the need to, like, watch someone gorge?
It grosses me out. I mean, it really does. But at the same time, if I watch somebody eat peanut M&Ms, like, I'd probably be in trouble. You know, like, it would probably like, you know, trigger me to binge. Like, if I sat and watched somebody eat like a whole pound of them, like I used to, I'd fucking binge on that shit. I'd eat everything in my cabinet probably. You know, that's you know, as somebody, like, I'm a binge eater, and I'm pretty in fucking control compared to most people. You know, and that's why I find it to be this weird. It's the thing, and I'm sorry, people can say what they want. It's the thing that keeps their channels going for a lot of them. Now, the newer ones, it's like, it's the shock and awe of mukbangs, I believe, for the newer ones is replaced by the high ass production quality, sleekness. You know, there's like these two kind of branches. Like, there's the older weight loss channels that, you know, looked like to be them, like, just with the best of intentions, not even really thinking about monetizing it, got involved. And all of a sudden got trapped. I've made so many videos about this where they get trapped because of the money, and any reinforcement's negative reinforcement. But the dangerous part about this, I've even had people say everybody hates these people. They still get thousands of likes and lots of people watch, thousands. And if you look at their comment section,
they have more support than they put on. They just highlight the negativity because negativity sells.
Yeah, way more support. But so there's that group. They kind of get, like, I believe they get caught in, like, they end up paying all their bills. They actually get a little bit more obese. Amber Lynn's getting like 200 pounds. They get a little bit more obese, and then they're stuck. I mean, they're stuck being, it's people being mean to them, everything like that. Because there are other reaction channels, not like you guys, that fuck up what you guys got going on too, because they are just mean. Like, they just do mean shit, and that sucks, because it then makes it harder for you guys to get your point across. But, like, when there's the older channels and there's the newer channels, and I believe that the newer channels try to avoid the negativity at all possible costs, unless it's, like, almost presented in, like, this solemn, like, I personally have struggled with weight several times, I personally have. There was no theme of music when I was fucking starving myself to death the first time. There was no collages and shit. Like, I think it presents this unrealistic image a little bit of the super high production values. So I just encourage, and I'm gonna let you guys talk about that, but I do encourage any weight loss channel out there, when you do super high production all the fucking time and everything has a sponsor, like every video is sponsored or the majority of them are sponsored, I'm finding it to be disingenuous, and I'm worried that the audience will either turn against that person very fucking soon and quickly.
It's like a ticking time bomb. Every time you see these ads pop up, sponsored content, you look to that comment section and you're like, okay, who's gonna open the can first? Who's gonna say it?
It's likely filtered.
Sponsored vids.
It's likely filtered.
There's got to be filters, because you look at some of them, and I'll be honest, Beatrice Caruso, April, Lauren, any of the bigger ones right now, I go and I support these girls. I want them to succeed. I want to be positive. I don't want to be known as someone who puts negative energy out there, but I also hope that they're not filtering the criticism out. Now, if there's a mean, terrible, nasty comment in there, obviously, get rid of it. But if you shut out the criticism, people are going to catch on that you're shutting it out. Look at how that went for Alex. She completely, decimated her comment section, and so reaction channels were born. And I don't want these channels to go that same route. None of us want negativity. None of us want to criticize people. It's just, we need to be able to voice our opinion.
And that's where I will always say that enablers are real nice. Like Chantal, all the enablers are so nice and they're so kind. So on the topic of just because you're providing someone feedback or criticism doesn't necessarily always mean that you're being mean, but just because you're being kind to someone or speaking in a nice, approachable way doesn't mean that you're being helpful. And
I don't think I've ever made a video about a weight loss channel that's been in mean spirit. I've made mean spirited videos before, no doubt, but I don't think I've ever made one about a weight loss channel or somebody trying to lose weight in a mean spirited way. The only thing I think that would possibly come close was The Biggest Loser. People can say that that's a weight loss channel. That would be the technical thing they'd have to fucking catch me on, because I hate those motherfuckers. But I've never made one. They've all taken it as negative too when I chime in, and I really do not watch a lot of their content a lot, and I've reached out to a lot of them and offered them advice and had back and forth conversations. So as far as I'm concerned, most people that's happened in the weight loss world, they're either going to take my advice or not. I'm not going to reach out to them again, and if they want to take it, great. I'm just not going to watch at all until they reach out, because I just don't want to fucking know. I don't like that I know what happens with a few of them right now, because you can only offer advice, especially when it's just free advice, when you're just trying to hey, you've got a big audience, blah, blah, blah. That's actually a thing where a lot of them get so much free advice that they just kind of look past it too. But, which makes me wonder why, because I'm not talking about anyone particular. I've noticed 6 or 7 weight loss channels amongst Instagram and Twitter, not Twitter, but Instagram and YouTube, that are doing this 75 hard thing, actual weight loss channels. It's fucking
it's all over all of a sudden. It's not just one person. It's all over, and it's in my personal opinion, I was obese. I could focus on going to the gym and eating right and drinking water. I couldn't add all that other stuff onto it. It would have destroyed it.
Well, they say it's not for weight loss, but I'll also point out another thing too. A gallon of water might be too much for some people. What if the person's diminutive? What if they're very small? Or if you're I got a real deal. If you're 400 pounds, a gallon of water is not nearly enough for you. I mean, that's not nearly enough fluid for you. If you're 300 pounds, and you should be thinking 150 ounces around. And I know people be like, oh, I don't want to OD on water. It's the stupid fucking excuses. Jesus. But that's where I just get the 75 hard thing is I don't know. I don't know if people are getting paid to do it, and that's why it's being pushed by some. I don't know if they're seeing because it seems like it's a cluster where they must have found them all together and then sent them offers or something like that. But
well, I think if someone has a marketing mindset, if that's their part of their intention, they're gonna know, oh, this is a trend, I better hop on it.
Yeah.
Even if they're not being
Especially
paid
in
for it,
their tax ads
they're tapping into it because they're seeing an uptick in it as well.
Madzie, what were you gonna say?
I think it's interesting when we talk about trends. Everyone's quick to jump onto trends and X, Y, Z, but no one really wants to hear criticism to help them evolve. If that makes sense. I feel like a lot of people when they come onto a platform, they come with intentions of doing a trend per se. That trend would then allow them to grow. But then when it comes to evolving their content to something else better and obviously more, I don't know, just going forward, what happens is that's when the line starts to come into place. Because when you start something, people believe that they have to stick with it, and then that's when they start to do X, Y, Z, if that makes any sense. But one thing that I wanted to say though, that I wanted to say ages ago about mukbang, sorry, is I find it quite interesting how people find more fascination in watching someone eat food rather than going to a cooking channel where they can actually show you how to cook food. Because the thing that I find so interesting about mukbangs is that it's predominantly food that is ordered, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when you go to a cooking channel, they're going to teach you how to cook. So it is quite interesting how the market of mukbang has really taken over the market of cooking channels. Because when you go to a cooking channel, obviously it's presented in a nice way. There isn't anyone discussing like Nicole Carter, avocado, for example, and most importantly, they're not just saying random stuff that just makes no sense just to be entertaining, you know what I mean? And I do find it very interesting how people can sit there and just watch someone go.
Yeah.
You got someone like Chantel
That's
just slops everything here and everything. I'm just thinking, well, hold on a minute. If I wanted to watch someone have like a meal, why did I just go to someone actually make a meal from fresh, regardless whether it's healthy or not? At least then, it's got a more positive feeling to it, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. And I think that if they hadn't pushed this whole fat acceptance situation and whatnot, I feel like half this stuff just wouldn't be happening, would it now? But anyway, it is what it is. I'll say my piece.
Here's what I wanted to do, guys. I wanted to open up to some questions for any of you guys, or we could pull some questions from the comment section. So if you guys see one, let me know what it is. But I'm going to answer one myself. And that's this person, Fadaz FJ, I think it is. Oh, did you get immune, Alan? You don't know if you even had COVID. And I believe that's because of my pronouns, immune and healthy. And the way 2020 works, and 2021 apparently, more 2021, is that since I identify as immune and healthy, I therefore am. And because science for 2020. So since I identify as immune. So that's why there's that one. Now, let's see here. And just I know this would probably piss a few people off too, but fuck it. Let's see. Anybody have any questions for these guys?
Hold a minute. Oh, sorry. So there is a comment here that someone says, Melis says, I wonder what psychology is behind people wanting to watch others binge. And that is interesting because what happens is, people will happily watch someone else binge, right? But then when this person acts a certain type of way, they'll happily then hate on that person, So it's like, why trigger yourself in the first place? Why not go watch someone who does something different, And I feel like sometimes people have the ill intention to come online to specifically watch certain people just so they can be horrible for the sake of it. And it's like, what do you gain from being horrible to someone for the sake of it? Like, if you're gonna come online, regardless whether you're a viewer or a YouTuber, come online because you're trying to make a difference to either that person's life or to at least the people that watch them, rather than just watching them saying, hey, you're doing this, that is disgusting. Why? It's like, okay, you've said it's disgusting, we know it's disgusting, but why are you actually here though? Are you here because you want to be informative, or you're here because you just want to hate because you've had a bad day? And I think when people do that, that's what creates this negative thing. Because obviously we speak about Amber Lynn Reed, she loves the negative flipping vibe, and without the negativity, she wouldn't be anyone. But this is the thing, right? Those people that come online with specific ill intentions to be horrible to her, they're the ones that are giving her the initiative to say, you know what? Let me continue on this rampage you're just eating and just chatting the most nonsense. You know what I mean? And I think that people really need to think about, what is the benefit of you being horrible if you don't have anything, to it, like whatever. But yeah, whatever. Yeah.
There's people who definitely will like. There's that whole aspect of like people loving to watch train wrecks, but I think there are a lot of people who openly admit that they will watch these people who are behaving in such a, whether it's like grotesque or horrible way, because it inspires them almost like in a contrarian way. Like they want to watch someone being bad so that they will be like, oh, I can't be like that. I'm not going to be like that. So when there's so many people who will be like, I'm going to make sure I was craving snacks, so I pulled up Chantal. And so they will kind of utilize them watching her binge as a way to stop them. Which
So,
I don't know if that's, I think like, honestly, I think you should look for inspiration in like a positive way, as opposed to like, I don't know that I'd ever, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that I'd rely on for my inspiration, but I know it's something that's said a lot.
yeah, sorry, just really random. I just want to say this, right? Can this person please stop talking about masks? Masks have nothing to do with weight. I'm here to talk about health, man. Jesus.
It's because I don't own one.
Listen. Here's the thing, right? Regardless of whether I own one or not, I'm not here to hear about a mask. I'm here to talk about what is here. You know what I mean? Like, if you got something to say something that's actually beneficial to conversation, okay? But somebody says here, Lindsay, I'm unfamiliar with you. Perhaps I missed your introduction. Can you tell us more? Tell us me or more about your background.
Well, I am a mother of 2 girls, and basically I just got on YouTube to share my experience with just thyroid issues, weight, and I wanted to point out some of the issues that I saw in this community. Like I said earlier, a lot of these channels are a one-size-fits-all struggle or a one-size-fits-all constant motivation, like Tiffany said. And it's not that easy for everyone. It's not just one way. And I just wanted to share my experience. I don't want anybody to emulate me. I don't want anybody to want to be like me. I'm just sharing stuff. And to be honest, it's helping me break out of some of my social awkwardness. Like I'm not one that likes to share. And for this opened me up to not only, good things from the people I've met, but it's also opened me up to being able to have more conversations with people, to be able to talk to people who don't agree with me and do it in a respectful manner. So it's not just about pointing out other things that people are doing. It's also benefiting me. And if it ever becomes a point where it doesn't benefit me, I won't be here anymore.
Good.
Fantastic.
No shit. So what else we got going on? It's sad watching foodie binge. I have just real quick. I have not actually ever reached out to her, nor do I. I can speak about her. She seems to be the only one that I think is like truly trollish. I think she's just kind of like knowingly begs the hate on a little bit and I don't know if it's her disorder. She obviously has an eating disorder and obviously needs some counseling. I would say that right now. But I think she's like actually like kind of mean spirited, out of them all. I really kind of believe that. I do believe that like she should like it's the same thing. Like they should fucking not binge on camera. And that's how they make them, like that's the money. It's just absolutely is. It's the money for them. Because what you were saying earlier, real deal, me just not eating food and conducting my daily life is not that fucking exciting. Like when people actually lose weight, it's not actually fucking, it's like exciting at all. Like nobody. It's
not. There's no like drama. There's no like real juicy entertainment in watching me eat like meal prep and eat the same thing every other week.
Yeah. I shared a few of my experiences. Like I did a thing, I was eating like Tom Brady, and it even gets boring for me. But people wanted to see it, and it's like I'll show you, but it's not going to be exciting. You're going to watch me eat a lot of stuff that's green. You're going to watch me drink a lot of water. Like there's nothing exciting to it. The best part is just showing the book and saying, hey, if you want to look at it, look at it. I mean, it was fun.
So for real, like you get to see, like it would be like me waking up, grabbing coffee. I wouldn't even be able to show you how it normally is because I fucking most of it's done naked. So like a true actual day in the life, I'll never do a true actual like I fucking wake up, walk around my house naked, grab coffee, fucking walk back into the fucking bedroom. We sit and drink coffee while we're waking up. Normally answer a bunch of fucking emails. It's hugely exciting. And then we fucking plop down at the desk, do fucking like 8 hours of fucking work. You get to watch me typing. Super fucking exciting. I go live, you guys get to fucking see that shit. I work out, which I don't like what people watch me work out at all anyway. I fucking can't stand that shit, so no. And then like you get to see me eat like 1.5 meals, mostly meat and then fucking veggies. And then I watch some TV, talk to the wife, take a shower and go to bed, repeat. I mean, like it's like these people that do these super exciting day in the life videos, like what the fuck? Like I'm so like when you keep making those over and over and over again, I just got to be real. Your life's not that important. Like, and for you to think it's that important that should be a huge portion of your content is a little weird. But even your audience wanting to know what you do on a daily basis, that shit creeps me the fuck out. But it's like when they start doing shit like that, like you're monetizing your fucking life, you know, like just be real. Like this, I very much like being able to be noticed when I want to be noticed and not when not. Like I like it to end right fucking here. But when you get like, when you're monetizing your whole fucking life, dangerous, very fucking dangerous, you know?
Yeah, because they create that like intimacy. It's like a fake sense of intimacy with their community because they want it just enough to be believed when they talk about sponsorships, almost like, you know, if like it's almost like a celebrity endorsing something, but now it's even better because it's someone that you relate to, someone that you see into their life. But then at the flip side, they want to be like, no, I don't want you to feel close to me, but I want to profit off you feeling close to me.
Yeah. It's somebody just asked how Awesome Sauce is doing. Awesome. I'm wearing an Awesome Sauce shirt though. That's the Awesome Sauce. I got it because of her name. I don't know. She's sleeping somewhere, I'm sure. She was just like literally laying down eating next to me. But
yeah, sorry. No, I was going to say something about sponsors.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, you know, I once watched a video when somebody said that, you know, when it comes to sponsors, as a YouTuber, the bigger you get, you know, you're more likely to get more and more sponsors. But the thing is, if you start to take every single sponsor that comes possible, that is a form of losing engagement with your subscribers, with your followers, right? Because what happens is if you start to just sponsor anything and everything, especially things that you don't even use yourself, people will then start to think, huh? Wait, so are you on this platform to vlog because you want us to see your story, or are you now here just because you want to promote this and that, just because it's easy cash, if you know what I mean? And I think this is the problem that I have with sponsors, right? I think sponsors are a great thing, but at the same time, when you're an influencer, only sponsor things that you know are actually important to your channel. You know what I mean? That makes sense to your channel. And also, most importantly, that you know are going to be a good product. Because if people buy them and then those products don't come back very nice, it's not looking good for you. You know what I mean? And this is the problem with sponsors. People get sponsor hungry. And one thing that I do know, okay, I think Tiffany can elaborate on this one more than I can. But one thing that I do know is that if you're someone that does a clothing haul, when you buy clothes and then you have to do your tax return, you can't necessarily. Okay, so wait, Tiffany, explain this tax return to me. What I'm saying.
So,
she knows what I'm talking about. There you go.
Yeah. So who we do our taxes with for the past few years, like she knows that like whenever I've had income from YouTube, I've had to, you know, declare it, like put that on my taxes. And she had to ask about like what I did. And I asked her out of curiosity, I'm like, okay, so what about if I do something food related, clothes related? She's like, if you do something specifically for a video, then you can like write it off for the taxes. But if it's something you were going to do anyway, like if you were going to eat dinner anyway, then it can't apply. But if you're like, say, going to a restaurant to review it and you get the food from there, you could try to write that off. Same thing with clothes. If you were going to buy clothes anyway, that's one thing. But if you are doing a clothing video specifically for Savage X Fenty, you could, you know,
well, workout clothes.
Yeah,
My entire gym.
Wait, sorry. I just want to bounce off that quickly. See, I want this Tim to explain so I can finish my point.
Okay.
And this is the thing, and this is why we have YouTubers like Alexander Rodriguez and even other ones that are that are not as toxic as her, right? Who are all doing the same thing, okay? And this is the problem, right? Because this happens, it means that they are hungry and hungrier for more and more sponsors, because that is where their income comes in. Because without it, they get less. But it's annoying because they then neglect the fact that they're getting a decent income from YouTube itself anyway. You see what I'm saying? But this is why some of them are just so hell bent on sponsor. And like I said before, this is for YouTubers who are also, you know, not manipulative per se, you know. But yeah, that's that. Just wanted to put that out there. But yeah.
Hey guys, I hate to jump in here, but I have to get off because my boyfriend.
Sell out! Wow, that's it. We're done with you. Go, leave.
Yeah.
I didn't want you here anyway. Go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, actually, guys, I actually need to pop off too. So we've been on for a little while. I tell you what, though, I really enjoyed this, and from you know, if there's any questions in the comments afterwards, we can set this up to do it whenever again. Probably in probably a couple of weeks, because you guys have some crazy shit happening in your guys' world right now. But I appreciate all of you guys. I just realized that my timer just went off, so I was like, oh shit.
Mine did too. They're on their way.
Fuck, I gotta go. Anyway, thank you guys very, very much. Please go around the horn and tell everybody where they can find you.
My channel is ThatsLindsayWithAnA.
Wait, can you say it one more time? So say it slower so everyone gets it right. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
Lindsay with an A, all spelled out.
Tiffany.
Tiffany Sherii, but it's Tiffany Sherii.
Okay.
And the Sherii. Oh, sorry, you just put it. Sorry, you said it's Tiffany with an SH. So I'm thinking, did you just spell Tiffany there? No one does that. Okay, but okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'm just Madzie. Madzie. That's as simple as that. But yeah.
Madzie with a Madzie.
Madzie with Madzie. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate all you guys showing up, and thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. Talk soon.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. Bye, guys.
Thank you.